PrePS.com. I'm Evan Wren, and this is the Big Country Preps Wednesday night podcast, our weekly look at the area athletic scene, what happened last week, and what's going on this week. I'm here with my partner, Dan Youngblood, via Zoom. And tonight, Dan, we've got a very special guest. We've got Comanche boys basketball coach Richard Pringle, who has just announced that he's going to be hanging up the clipboard. He's going to be retiring.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this conversation. Obviously, Coach Pringle's a guy who's been a prominent part of the coaching community in our area for a long time. Been at Comanche a long time, done a great job there. And I'm excited just to kind of talk to him about that decision and really about, kind of a broader conversation about not only this team, but about his career at large. I think it's going to be a fun conversation with Coach Pringle, who, like I said, has been kind of a staple over there at Comanche for a long time. So it's going to be fun to talk with him.
Well, you're like, look at you. You're like a billboard, this green and gold billboard. I mean, that's just, look at you.
Got to represent. I've got to represent.
At least, I've got a real institution, on my garb, whatever.
I watched that real institution lose to Stanford on Saturday, but
that was a fluke. All right. Before we bring out Coach Pringle, we want to thank some of our sponsors, beginning with For the Love of the Game Broadcasting and our old friend Terry Slavens, owner of K-Lakes 93.5 FM out of Breckenridge, KATX 97.7 FM out of Eastland, Classic Country AM 1330 out of Graham, 94.7 FM, KWKQ out of Graham, KROO 1430 AM out of Breck, and KWBY 98.5 FM out of Ranger. That is For the Love of the Game Broadcasting. Also, Rob Durham, sales consultant at Bear Chevrolet Buick Cadillac in Breckenridge. If you're in the market for a new vehicle or used vehicle, give him a shout. He's one of the nicest guys you'll ever want to meet. Call him at 254-559-2266. That's Rob Durham up at Bear Chevrolet Buick Cadillac in Breckenridge. All right, we're just about ready to bring on Coach Pringle. But before we do that, we want to remind you to please hit the subscribe button on YouTube as you're watching these videos. Hit the subscribe button, and then after you do that, hit that little bell, and you'll get notifications every time we come out with a new Big Country video. And joining us now, Comanche boys basketball coach Richard Pringle. Coach, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for letting me be on here.
Coach, right off the bat, tell us about this week you've got upcoming. You're in control of your own destiny still, but there's no guarantees. Tell us about this week.
Yeah, we've got last district game tomorrow against Millsap here. If we win that one, we're automatically in. We could still get in, but if Brock beats Breckenridge, but we don't want to rely on that. We want to go ahead and take care of things our own way and hopefully beat Millsap tomorrow night, and then we'll either be playing Holiday or City View.
And Coach, you've got a couple of players on this team that have been big parts of what y'all have done for several years now. Miguel Martinez being a big one. Obviously, Kyler Beatty's had a really nice season. Just talk about what it's been like to coach this particular group and some things you really like about this team.
Oh, these kids, they're a lot of fun to coach. They come to practice, work hard every day. Miguel's a special kid. He can score a lot of points, and leads us all up and down the floor. And Kyler's just an amazing kid. He's a great jumper, very physical, and he's able to score, quite a bit sometimes as well. So with both those two guys leading the way, we've had some pretty good success this year.
And one of the challenges that you and a lot of our teams within that district face, obviously y'all share a district with a couple of state powers in Feaster
yes,
and Brock. So you kind of start the season knowing that that's going to be an uphill climb there. Just what's that been like? Because y'all have kind of been out there for a while now in that district. What's that like going into season where you know you're going to have that level of competition in the district?
Oh, it's tough. I mean, those when you say Feaster and Brock or Brock Feaster, doesn't matter which one you put first. They're both very talented. They have good coaches, obviously, but those kids are so I guess fundamentally sound is a good word to say. And every time you go up against them, you're going to get some of the best in the state. They're both ranked in the top 10, so it's been pretty tough.
Coach, it doesn't get any easier once you get into by district. You guys are matched up with District 7, and as a 3 or a 4 seed, you'll either get Holiday or City View in the first round. So it just doesn't get any easier.
Oh no, sir. They're both good. I've talked to both coaches already, and we played City View 2 years ago, and in a by district matchup, and probably played the best game that we played that entire season, and still got beat by 22 or 23 points. So they got some talented kids, but we'll our kids will step up. We'll be ready to play.
And Coach, one thing that it's kind of a blessing for y'all's athletic program is y'all have been blessed with some playoff runs that run deeper into the season, and just kind of talk about having coaches as long as you have those seasons where you do get your kids maybe a little later than you would otherwise, and kind of the adjustments you make in those situations.
Yeah, I mean that's what happened this year. Obviously, our football program got turned around big time with Coach Escobar, and we had a really good football season. And it hampers you a little bit, I guess, when those kids get to you 2 or 3 weeks later than what you're supposed to get them. But our kids have responded. I mean they don't get the gym time, say for like a Brock or Peaster team, but I mean they've able to come on and play good and trying to play catch up a little bit. But they've responded really well this year.
Coach, you had a decision to make about continuing or retiring. You decided to retire.
I did.
How difficult was that decision?
It was, Evan. It was pretty difficult. With me being an integral part of football for so long and head basketball, just the hours itself. I mean, the strain that it puts on not only myself but the family. I just felt like it was time. Uh, Lost my father back in October. One of the last conversations he and I had, he asked me, he goes, "How often are you thinking about retiring?" And I said, "Well, Dad, I'm thinking about it, almost every day." And he says, "Well," he said, "if you're thinking about it every day," he said, "you probably need to make the jump and go ahead and do it."
And talking to a lot of coaches and referees as well who have retired, they always kind of talk about that first game day of the following season and kind of how they anticipate that being, and just how do you anticipate that, and kind of how much do you think you will miss it once the season rolls around and you're kind of not in that same routine you've been in so long?
Yeah, my wife and I, we've talked about that. And my son, I know it's going to be different. I've got two stepkids that are fixing to be, freshmen here at Comanche, and that was a big part of the decision too, because I want to be able to watch those two kids compete in every sport, not have to, worry about my stepdaughter. I think I saw her play 2 volleyball games and maybe 2 basketball games this year as an eighth grader, and that's not fair to them, and it'll be different. I'm still going to go to games and support our community because we love it here in Comanche and love the kids and administration here. So it'll be different, but I think I can handle it just fine.
Coach, when a guy steps down, one of the questions he has to ask himself is, if he feels fulfilled, and worrying later on if he's going to have any regret at all about leaving early. I guess you've weighed that, and you feel fulfilled, and there's not going to be any regrets that you can see.
No, I mean I've looked at everything, Evan. It's not, when you decide to do this, it's not just an overnight decision. It's weighed on my mind for a couple of years now, and I feel in my heart I'm making the right decision. So that's just the way I'm going to go with it and just see how it rolls. If I'm going to miss anything, for sure it's going to be missing the kids, because that's what I've done this for almost 30 years. It's always been about the kids. It's not been about how many games have I won, or how well has a team done. It's just about the kids, and that part I'm sure I'm going to miss, but I'll still be around and close enough to keep that connection going.
And one thing I like to talk to coaches, particularly who've been in it a while and seen some evolution in the game and those sorts of things, is just kind of how, in ways maybe the game has changed. So just in your time from when you started to now, what are maybe some of the biggest ways that the game has changed, and kind of how would you describe some of those changes?
Well, I remember when I first started, if I was correct, we didn't have a 3-point line, so I know that's changed a bunch, because you see all the teams now. I mean, that's all. I mean, just like playing Peaster the night. I don't know how many threes they made, but it's their whole offensive scheme is revolved around shooting 3 points. But is what it is. The speed of the game has sped up a lot. When I first started coaching 29 years ago, I thought the game was kind of slow paced game, I guess. And a lot of the West Texas schools did that, but now, man, the speed of the game is so fast. The kids are so much more athletic than they were 30 years ago. And that's just a tribute to everybody being in the weight room, getting the kids physically fit and ready. And that's probably been the biggest change. I mean, you just see, I say 25, 30 years ago, the kids were kind of skinny and weren't, physically developed. But now, woo, you walk in the gyms, you can tell the kids that have been in the weight room.
Coach, what memories or anecdotes will you share with people? What are your favorite memories from your coaching career that are going to pop up quickly as you talk about it?
Now, some of them probably not repeatable, but no, I just, you told me that earlier, like on a favorite memory. I do remember this is probably back in 2011, 2012. I don't know, when I was at Dublin, we went to the regional tournament. I had a couple of special needs kids that were my managers, and just awesome kids to work with, and led kind of a sheltered life. But anyway, when I told them, hey, we made it to the regional tournament, we're fixed to take a charter bus to Midland, and I told them, I said, I want y'all to go with us. The look on their face, knowing that they were going to get to go neither one of them had ever spent the night, away from their house anywhere. And they just looked at me and they go, "You're really going to take us?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm going to take you." And I said, "Y'all are just as much a part of this team as the kids that are out there playing the game." So I said, "I want you to go." And Evan, it's memories like that. And there's plenty more of those that have happened in 30 years. But, when you see the look on a kid's face for something like that, I mean, they can't play, obviously, but they were a part of that team. I wanted them to be a part of that team. And just seeing the looks on those kids' faces, that makes, I mean, a lifelong lasting memory for me.
The impact you've had on so many lives. That's the best opportunity for a coach, really. It's
Yeah.
aside from, I mean, winning and losing takes care of itself, but that's got to be just a thrill for you when you know you've impacted somebody's life.
Well, I mean, I hope I have. I saw we had our powerlifting meet here last week, and you know, typical coach. I went into the hospitality room, and I was talking, and I heard somebody go, "Hey, Coach Pringle." And I turned around, and I saw a former athlete of mine, and he goes, "Man, I'll remember your voice from anywhere." And he goes, "The only thing's changed. You have a few more wrinkles and a lot more gray hair."
Well, Coach, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you
Yes,
joining
sir.
us, and we will be keeping a close eye on you guys for the rest of the way.
All right. Well, I appreciate what y'all do for the big country, and thanks for your time.
Good luck.
All right.
Appreciate it,
Thank
Coach.
you. All right.
Thank
See
you.
you.
And that was Comanche boys basketball coach Richard Pringle. I'm sorry to see him retire. Actually, he's been a very good source for a long time. Very easy to work with. Very nice guy. I'm gonna miss him.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will. I mean, that's the thing when you get these coaches who've been in an area for a long time at the same school for a long time, you get used to seeing them every year, year after year at the games you're going out to. You really enjoy working with these people. So it is always tough when you see someone like that, who, like I said earlier, has been kind of a staple of his community. Hang it up. There is obviously some sadness. You're gonna miss him. But I thought it was a really fun conversation. I thought I learned a lot in talking with him there, just about kind of who he was and kind of the way he viewed, his coaching career. So I thought that was a really cool conversation. I'm glad we got to have the time to do that today.
With that, it's about time to wrap up the Big Country Preps Wednesday night podcast. But before we do that, we want to remind you we've got 3 separate subscription packages here at Big Country Preps. We got a monthly for $5 a month. We got a semi-annual 6-month subscription where we knock that price down to $4 a month. And we got an annual 12-month subscription where we knock that price down to $3 a month. $36 for a full year of Big Country high school athletic coverage.
We'd also like to remind you that if you see a photo you like in any one of our galleries, those are available for purchase. We have photo downloads available for $7, as well as some prints and keepsakes. As you're scrolling through the site, you'll notice pretty quickly that we take a lot of photos from these games we're at. It's something we really enjoy doing and something we are very proud of here at bigcountrypreps.com.
All Big Country, all high school, all the time. Welcome home.